You ever have one of those days where you just want to throat punch somebody? My day-to-day job is a project manager for a pretty big manufacturing facility. I oversee project budgets, project spending. I oversee the scope of a project. I oversee progress. I communicate delays. I basically act as a liaison between my company and the client. 90% of what I do is communication. And honestly, if you were to boil it really down to brass tacks, all a project manager does is remove roadblocks. It's my job to understand who needs to be doing what and when it will be done. It's really not overly complicated, and anybody who is halfway decent at scheduling or planning anything can be a project manager. But one of the most frustrating aspects of my job are dealing with customers who don't know how to get out of their own way. Like the whole goal of your company coming to ours and contracting us to work on a project for you is to be in a collaborative environment. And maybe it's my age, maybe it's how I was brought up, but when you're working in a collaboration, you are considered to be on the same team. And there has been this disturbing trend in, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 projects that I've worked on, and that the project manager that is my single point of contact on the customer side has had these unrealistic expectations of what exactly it is that we are supposed to be doing for them as their contract manufacturer. And I get it. Everybody is trying to do more with less, and everybody's trying to be more efficient. And AI has improved everybody's lives and makes things so much easier to analyze data and all that kind of stuff. Anybody that has lived in a PM role knows the absolute drudgery of daily reports. But there's one client that we have that I don't understand why the PM is so aggressively aggravated, like just straight up unnecessarily hostile. And it really just baffles me because my whole demeanor and the whole way that I treat projects is that I am here to get you what you need. I am here at your service. A PM is basically a customer service role. I like that is what I do. My job is to be the voice and face of my company and represent my company in front of yours. So if there are issues with you understanding how the project is progressing or any particular delays or understanding scope, that's my job to remove those roadblocks. But what I struggle with is that if we set a cadence for how to communicate with each other and it gets totally ignored the following day because I don't know, maybe they had their own internal meeting and all of a sudden they got chewed out for some arbitrary reason, and all of a sudden now we're the problem. And a lot of what I struggle with is leaving it at work, right? Don't take work home with you. Leave it there. It's the company problem. And I've talked about this in some of my previous videos and some of my shorts that it's just not fun anymore. Like the amount of stress that gets put just unnecessarily on you as a PM, maybe just in this particular role, I feel like it's industry wide right now, that it's unnecessary. It's too much. Why? We're all here to pull this thing together. We don't need to be adversarial here. Like, what's the point? And honestly, the trend that I've noticed is that it does tend to be older PMs that seem to have a very short temper, a very short fuse when it comes to this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not drawing any conclusions from that, but there does seem to be a pattern. And today was just another perfect example where we have a project where there are some delays that are happening, but the root cause is because the client was supposed to be supplying us with certain parts and material that we needed for their project, but they were late in getting it to us and they didn't get it to us properly vetted. It wasn't properly verified. So we are going through that process for them. But in that exercise of going through the verification, we have found issues which are causing delays. And yes, it is a learned skill to be able to tell somebody that this is your fault without actually placing the blame and saying that it's your fault. And this is a skill that all good project managers are very well aware of. Not everybody is great at actually executing that, but we all know what that's supposed to look like. And that could be frustrating for a lot of people because they think that you're being political or you're dancing around or you're not being blunt enough. But the fact of the matter is that you can't be as blunt as you would be as if you're talking to a friend and giving them grief for something that they were late doing. And I think that's what a lot of younger project managers actually struggle with, is that your customer, your client, is not the person that you need to be venting to about them. And hell, to a certain extent, you shouldn't be venting to your own coworkers about it. And anyway, I mean, what'll end up happening is that I will have a another schedule review tomorrow morning. We'll go over the scope, we'll go over the impact of the schedule that this is having, and try to set up a recovery path. There may not be any, and it may just be it is what it is, but we have to go through that exercise anyway. Realistically, everybody should understand that. Sometimes it is what it is, and you work your way through the problem and you figure it out, and that's it. Raising the stakes and making it such a high stress situation where people don't want to work with you or they just don't want to interact with you, like some people just lack that self-awareness, and it's a shame. I wish, especially if you're in a project manager role, you have to be aware of how your attitude affects your team and affects the teams that you work with that you don't have direct reports under. Because I have worked with other project managers on projects where everything has gone to hell, nothing went right, and but we were able to tackle the problem together. And it's a learned skill. It's not like this is something that's just inherent to everybody, so somebody's personality. Yeah, there are certain personality types that might be more open to that kind of collaboration than others, and some of that I think might be how some particular generations were raised. But the point is that it's not something that, like, oh, you have to be an asshole just because, well, I'm just an asshole. Like, that was the phrase that was thrown out today on the call was, well, sorry to be a dick, but that's what they pay me for. Like, dude, you can get your point across without being an asshole. I'm sorry. Like, that just drives me up a wall. Like, the fact that you are at least self-aware enough to recognize that you're being an asshole means that you can change that behavior. So don't bullshit me and try to be like, well, it's not me, it's just the job. No, it's you. It's you projecting your problem onto me, and now it's my problem. You're just shifting the blame. And again, maybe it's because of how I was raised, or because I'm an engineer by trade, or just because I am good at communicating with people. I get so frustrated with that, and it's one of the things that has completely burned me out on this industry is just having people that just can't recognize that you are supposed to be pulling in the same direction. Nobody is trying to fight against you here. We all have our own issues. We all have a boss. I get that. We all have deadlines and we all have performance metrics that we all have to meet. Let's work together. Let's establish the best path forward. That's all you can do. So anyway, that's just me venting for today. I'm over it. It's, done, dusted, put away, leaving that at work. I'll have to deal with it more tomorrow, but for now, I'm home, managed to get a bite to eat, had a short chat with a girlfriend before I realized that I was behind on recording my vlog. So here I am in my sanctum of peace here in the car to record a quick vlog and just get some things off my chest because, oh man, yeah, that's my venting for today. I will talk to you all later. Peace.